live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we are doing the first off-season content on Loungetime with the 2024 Yours Truly mock draft. I have never made a mock draft on Loungetime until right now, so things are changing. I'm on the road, I'm not at the home studio. I wish I was at the home studio, but I have some small things to take care of. But if there's any future Loungetime content for the offseason, it will be back at the main studio. So, while I'm on the road, we're going to do mock drafts. All right, so here's how this is going to work. We're going to break it down every 5 picks. We're going to break it down every 10 picks if you guys want. For those that probably can't catch it up quickly, that's okay. We have some trades. We've been following some leak sources on social media. We've been following some stuff on social media as well to see what the fans are hoping and what some other team sources are indicating for their team's draft picks. So, first couple picks, we're going to kind of go by quickly because they're mostly unanimous. The ones that will be later are a little bit more tougher to figure out because there's multiple different ways you can go. I don't care if I get any of my mock draft picks wrong. I don't care about being right or wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I think each team's going to need and where I think there's going to be some trades going to happen on the board. So, without further ado, let's get into the mock draft. So, let's start off with the top 5. The top 5 are, I think, unanimous as far as where they'll get picked. So, Chicago Bears own the first pick of the draft. That's from Carolina, if you remember the Bryce Young trade last year. So, number 1 overall pick, no surprise. Caleb Williams is going to the Chicago Bears, in my opinion. I think the reason they traded Justin Fields for, knowing that, okay, Justin Fields, we're done with you. Caleb Williams is too much of a generational type of talent player. Although I would argue, I don't think he's the best generational talent that I've seen among college quarterbacks. That's a different subject for another day. But it's hard to not pass up a guy that is some very rare qualities that can make him really, really special in this league. Justin Fields, I don't think the Bears did a great job building around him. But again, that's why I just think that them trading Justin Fields to the Steelers clearly makes Caleb Williams the number 1 pick for the Chicago Bears and the easy number 1 overall pick selection there. Number 2, the Washington Commanders. I am going to pick that Jaden Daniels goes to the Washington Commanders. I've heard everything from the Commanders organization is looking like it's going to be Jaden Daniels. They were looking at these other quarterback prospects, but I feel like within the last couple of weeks, it's been very apparent that they're going with Jaden Daniels and that it's the most likely pick at number 2. So I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels at number 2, and Jaden Daniels goes to the Washington Commanders. I just think that they like him a lot more than the other quarterbacks do from what I've heard, unless they shock us and go with somebody like Drake May or J.J. McCarthy. But I have them getting picked later in the mock draft. So that's my number 2 overall pick choice. Well, again, we're going to recap the top 5. Top 10 picks so that way everybody catches up. But just going through one at a time, trying to give you a brief reason so that way we can get to every team and not make this so long of a video. At number 3, my New England Patriots. And no, I'm not wearing Patriot gear. I'm not wearing the Patriots sweatshirt, sweatpants, no. I'm not doing it because I just got to pray this freaking draft pick is right. I know I want us to draft, and I swear this pick has nothing to do with my personal opinions. This is who I think we're generally going to draft. At number 3, my New England Patriots, I think, are going to take Drake May out of North Carolina. I think that I was scared right before the regular season ended that Drake May was going to go to Washington. But I had a small feeling if Jaden Daniels from LSU won the Heisman, Jaden Daniels would get all the talk to go up to 2, which played perfectly into the Patriots' hands because Drake May is going to go at 3. A lot of people are saying his footwork's got some problems and that he drifts from one side of the pocket and that, they wouldn't draft him at 3. Honestly, I want to just preface this. I don't think that you can pass up a quarterback if you're at 3. You know why? Are you that sure that Michael Penix, who I like, are we sure Michael Penix is going to be better than Drake May is? He's got some injury history. J.J. McCarthy, I am not sold on. I don't think that J.J. McCarthy will be better at the next level than Drake May is. That's my opinion, okay? And then you got these other quarterbacks like Bo Nix, I'm not sold on at all. So I think to me, and I look at the other needs on this roster, I get it. They need wide receiver. I know they need tackle. This is a deep receiver tackle draft. You can get those in rounds 2 and 3. I don't think you can get them you can get them at the thing, but I don't think the quarterback class is great outside of, in my opinion, Penix and then the 3 guys I just mentioned now. So I think if I'm the Patriots, I would take Drake May. He's got tremendous upside. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert comparisons. I think he's got mobility. I think he's going to be a fun quarterback to watch, and I hope the New England Patriots take Drake May at number 3 overall. Number 4, the Arizona Cardinals. I have them selecting Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State. The man has NFL legendary his old man, Marvin Harrison Sr., played for the Colts, one of my favorite wide receivers of all time. I think that this is a slam dunk pick for the Cardinals. You have to get wide receivers for Kyler Murray, especially after losing DeAndre Hopkins last offseason. I think that the Cardinals need to go get Kyler Murray, a bona fide number 1 receiver. And I think that the reason you start that is you go get Marvin Harrison Jr. He is, to me, he gives me Randy Moss vibes. And I'm not saying Randy Moss as far as the leaping, jumping Moss type of stuff. No. But size, speed, you have to double team him. He is really good. And plus, he's got NFL legendary footsteps. His old man he's following, right? So he's been teaching him how to run routes well. The NFL genes. So I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 4 if I'm the Cardinals. At number 5, the LA Chargers. I was debating to see if there was going to be a trade in the top 5. But then I was like, I don't know if the Chargers are going to move out of that spot. I think they got a lot of good options here. They got some interesting choices they could make at 5. But after going through the options and picking who I think is the best choice at number 5, I'm picking Joe Alt at number 5, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame, to go to the LA Chargers. I'm going to explain why. So Jim Harbaugh, we all know, is it with the Chargers, right? They got a good running back, Gus Edwards. Greg Roman, he brought over from when he was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers as Justin Herbert's offensive coordinator. I don't like the receivers, but I looked at it like this. You're going to get receivers in round 2 and 3. It's a deep draft there. Joe Alt, I think, fits with what Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh want to do. They want to run the football, pound the rock, and then they're going to play action with Justin Herbert and give him receivers. They really wanted to build an emphasis on building a running game for Justin Herbert. I think that Joe Alt is going to go at number 5 overall to the LA Chargers. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if it's Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. I wouldn't argue with you on that. My opinion, I think they want to protect Justin Herbert because of the Chiefs. They got some pass rushers. The Vegas Raiders, they got some pass rushers. I think the biggest thing is you want to protect Justin Herbert, but Joe Alt is the most complete offensive tackle in the draft. I think you go get him and then get receiver in round 2. So, to recap the top 5, I have the Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. I have Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, going to the Washington Commanders. I got Drake May, quarterback out of North Carolina, going to the New England Patriots. I've got Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State, going to the Arizona Cardinals. And I've got Joe Alt, the offensive tackle of Notre Dame, going to the LA Chargers. No trades in the top 5, just to make sure everybody's following. Now, looking at 6 to 10, I've got one trade going to happen. All right? So keep your ears out. At number 6, the New York Giants are up. Again, they got multiple avenues they can go, but from what I've heard going back to the beginning of the offseason, the worst kept secret in the NFL draft is that the Giants are moving on from Daniel Jones. And you're probably like, Rich, they didn't move on from him because they still are carrying his $45 million per year salary. Yeah, but that's the worst kept secret because guess what? They're kind of ready to move on from him. So what does this mean? It means they might take a quarterback. They might go get a receiver for him. But again, if they're saying that they have buyer's remorse for giving Daniel Jones that contract and that the press conference, did you see how his eyes looked? He had that Adam Gase meme type of vibes, okay? So I think, for me, if the Giants are so non-secret of moving on from Daniel Jones, this means one thing. They're taking a quarterback in the draft. They could take a receiver, but I think they're going to take quarterback. And that pick, I have J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan, going to the New York Giants at 6. The reason I say that is because I don't think any of the top 3 are willing to trade down. I know the Giants have been trying to trade up at 3 with the Patriots, but New England, I think, has set their sights on Drake May. They're going to pick him at number 3. I think J.J. McCarthy will fall to the Giants at 6, so they don't have to trade up. They could if they want one spot, though, for 5. I would expect a team like Minnesota or the Raiders or Denver to trade up more likely with the Chargers at 5 than I would with the Giants because they're one spot down. So I think J.J. McCarthy is going to fall to the Giants at 6. I think that, excuse that annoying background noise. I'm on the road clearly. But anyway, I have J.J. McCarthy falling to the Giants at 6 because I think the Giants are done with Daniel Jones. They want a quarterback on a rookie contract. I think that J.J. McCarthy's got mobility. But again, I just think they want somebody that Daboll wants, and J.J. McCarthy won a national championship at Michigan. I don't think his ceiling is as high as people think it is. That's why I'm not so sold on him. So I'm going to go J.J. McCarthy, number 6 to the New York Giants. He slides down to 6, and the Giants don't have to trade up anything to get him. At number 7, here's your first big trade of the NFL mock draft. All right, so at number 7, it was going to be the Tennessee Titans. I don't think they're going to be happy that Joe Alt's off the board and that the Marvin Harrison Jr. is off the board. So you're probably like, well, they're going to take a wide receiver to pair with Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins. No, I think their number 1 pick player on the board was Joe Alt. I think they trade out of 7, and a team that's going to be trading up to go in the top 10, and I've heard this from a lot of things on social media and around the league, I think the Bills are going to trade up at number 7 to go grab Malik Neighbors. Crazy, but I'm going to say it happens. You know why? Because the Bills need a bona fide number 1 receiver. Okay, Stephon Diggs got traded to the Houston Texans. I think it was last month. They lost Gabe Davis in free agency to the Jaguars. I think Malik Neighbors makes sense here. They could even go take Rome Odunze, who I don't have picked yet. So I think it's Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors. But if I had to guess, I think it's Malik Neighbors because of his ability to be able to run the route tree, his after-the-catch ability. I think he can take the hot ball off the defense. Okay, I think that Malik Neighbors gives them a bona fide number 1 receiver, which they need. And I'm going to take Malik Neighbors to get picked in 7th overall in a trade for the Buffalo Bills with the Tennessee Titans. So the Buffalo Bills trade into the top 10 at number 7, swap picks with the Titans, and they go get Malik Neighbors. At number 8, the Falcons. I was tossed up between another trade here, but the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't see Atlanta trading outside of the top 10. They're not taking anybody offensively. I think they need defense in the worst way possible. So I'm going to go with Dallas Turner, the edge player out of Alabama, at number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, I've been saying for years, needs a pass rusher. Okay, Vic Beasley did not pan out after that one great season he had. Bud Dupree, they got on a 1-year deal. They just need a pass rusher to go with Grady Jarrett inside. I think that Dallas Turner brings that complimentary. He's a little undersized, but I think that his speed off the edge, they need speed. I think that Raheem Morris is looking for that. So I'm going with Dallas Turner at number 8 to the Falcons. At number 9, Chicago Bears are up again. I think they could go tackle. They could go wide receiver. But I'm going to go with Rome Odunze to the Bears at number 9. I think that this is a home run hit for the Bears. I think they're going to get tackle in round 2. I think that Rome Odunze, a big, tall wide receiver that can take the top off the defense, perfectly meshing with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, who can work the inside underneath patterns. Odunze is what they need. A tall receiver that can take the top off the defense. I love this pick for the Bears if they can get him at number 9. But I think they're going to end up taking Odunze at number 9. He slides down. They don't have to move up. Odunze, Allen, DJ Moore with Caleb Williams. Man, they're hitting home runs in the top 10. So I've got the Bears taking Rome Odunze at number 9. At number 10, the New York Jets. Oof. Another team that could go multiple different ways. They can go get offensive line to protect Aaron Rodgers because Tyron Smith's on a 1-year deal. He's in his mid to late 30s. And I think that, they got 2 tackles in their mid to late 30s. But they need a tight end, a true tight end. And I think that this pick is going to be Brock Bowers, as much as it pains me because I don't like the Jets as a Patriot fan. I think the Jets are somehow taking Brock Bowers. I just don't think it. I don't see any other way they don't do it, unless they're the Jets like I think they are. But I do think that the Jets are taking Brock Bowers because they're going to load up all in again next year. All right, they're going to load up all in next year. They got Garrett Wilson, right? Aaron Rodgers coming back off an Achilles. They're going to try to get him a security blanket. Brock Bowers, they can do so many creative things with him. Breece Hall, really great running back for them. I think they're going to need to build a line. That's my only concern with them. They got some veterans. I think that the Brock Bowers adds another piece to that offense and makes the Jets much better this year than they were last year. So I'm going with Brock Bowers at 10. So let's recap 6 to 10. So at number 6, the New York Giants, J.J. McCarthy from Michigan slides to number 6, and the Giants take him. I've got our first trade in the top 10 with the Bills moving up to the Titans pick at 7 to go grab Malik Neighbors. I got Dallas Turner going at number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. And I've got Rome Odunze at 9 to the Chicago Bears. And I've got Brock Bowers closing out the top 10 going to the New York Jets. So that's the top 10. At number 11, the Minnesota Vikings, who do not make a trade in my mock draft. I have them taking Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback out of Washington. I think that they like Michael Penix a little more than they do Bo Nix. I think Penix is actually a better fit for what Kevin O'Connell wants to do, which is throw the ball downfield. He can check it down. Penix has a little mobility. I know he's got mobility, but the only concern I have with them is injury history, right? And that's a legit concern. But I do think Penix, with the skill position players in Minnesota, with Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, I think that Penix, with a good supporting cast like he had at Washington, I think that Penix is in a good situation with Minnesota. So I think the Vikings take Michael Penix Jr. at 11. At number 12, the Denver Broncos. This is the first shock that you're probably like, Rich, you might be reaching here. That's not likely to happen. I don't care, because this is my opinion. This is how I think the mock draft will play out. At number 12, I've got the Denver Broncos selecting Bo Nix, the quarterback out of Oregon. You're probably like, Rich, they just traded for Zach Wilson from the Jets. They got Jarrett Stidham. They just picked up another quarterback in the offseason as well. Yeah, but Denver knows, Sean Payton knows, a quarterback on a rookie deal, you save a whole lot. And Denver, I've said it, Denver, I'm saying it right now. They lost everybody. They have to eat up a ton of dead money from the Russell Wilson contract. Sean Payton wants his own guy. I think that, to me, Bo Nix, I think he's been in love with Bo Nix since the draft process. I think that Sean Payton goes up and gets Bo Nix from Oregon. Okay? I think that Denver's in a salary cap hell. They have to eat up a lot of dead money from the Russell Wilson contract. I think that Bo Nix makes the most sense here. I mean, again, they could go get wide receiver. They can go get other positions. I just think Sean Payton wants his own guy at quarterback. And Bo Nix is, I think, the guy that he's wanted the whole time. So I'm going with Bo Nix at 12. At 13, the Las Vegas Raiders. I was debating about having them trade down, but I feel like there's just a player that they might need at 13 that I don't think they'll be able to get later. And that's the offensive guard out of Washington, Troy Fautanu from Washington. I hope I said his name right. Because the Raiders need offensive line. I looked at their interior offensive line. Who do they have? Cody Whitehair, I think, is an aging veteran, right? They could get tackle too, but I think they're going to get tackle in round 2. I think the Raiders so desperately need to protect whoever is going to be quarterbacking for them. And I think that Fautanu, he could play tackle, he could play guard from Washington. They need it. Chris Jones in the interior, right? Denver, they don't have really great interior players. The Chargers, they don't have great interior players, but the Raiders, if they're going to compete with Kansas City, you got to stop Chris Jones in the middle. Falcao now, they need an offensive guard / tackle, and the Raiders need to protect whoever's behind center. It starts up front. So for the Saints, this is a tough one here because this might be another pick where you go, I don't know about that, but let me explain this reason. At number 14, I've got the Saints taking Laiatu Latu. I hope I said his name right. The edge player from UCLA. Why would they take a pass rusher, Rich? They need offense. They're going to get that in the later rounds. There's a deep receiver class. Okay, you can get a tight end late for a steal. Okay. The Saints need an edge rusher because Chase Young's on a 1-year deal. He's inconsistent. He hasn't been the same since the injury that he had at Washington, right? Are we sure he's going to be a cornerstone pass rush player? I don't see that. Cameron Jordan's getting up there in age. He's at age 33, 34. I don't think he's got much left in this league. He's been in the league 13 years. I think they're going to have a young player groom under him, learn. I think Laiatu Latu makes so much sense for the Saints. They've got inside guys. They got a guy they got some veteran linebackers, good secondary veteran pieces. So I think they're going to go get another edge rusher that could drop into coverage. I think Laiatu Latu makes so much sense for the Saints at 14. At number 15, the Colts. I have them taking J.C. Latham from Alabama because they need a tackle. I think, is he a starting left tackle in the league? Maybe. I know he's played right tackle at Alabama. I'm going to go with him because I think the Colts, they need somebody to protect. With the Texans getting that duo of Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter, the Titans have some veteran pass rushers up there. Jacksonville, Arik Armstead went there. I know he's more of an inside guy, but they're going to need Josh Allen on the edge. You got to protect the edge for Anthony Richardson. And I think the Colts, they get their bookend tackle to go with Braden Smith. I think the Colts take J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So let's recap 11 to 15 real quickly. I've got Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback from Washington, going to the Vikings. I've got Bo Nix, quarterback from Oregon, going to the Broncos. I've got Troy Fautanu, the offensive guard from Washington, going to the Raiders. I've got Laiatu Latu, the edge player from UCLA, going to the New Orleans Saints. And I've got J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama, going to the Indianapolis Colts. 16 to 20. We've got 2 trades in this selection. The first one, Seattle's picking at 16. I think they're going to trade back, and a team that I've been hearing that wants to trade up is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the Eagles go up 7 spots to 16th, and they get Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback from, I don't know if it's Toledo or Idaho. I know it's one of the schools, but I think they're going to get Quinyon Mitchell because their secondary was horrendous last year. Horrendous. And I think Darius Slay is he's an old veteran. James Bradbury did not live up to that first year he had with them. Quinyon Mitchell, Vic Fangio, he likes those physical corners. And I think that he's so versatile. I think that Quinyon Mitchell, a younger athletic corner that they need, can come right in there. And he's learning from 2 really good corners. I think that the Eagles address their secondary problem. And I think the Eagles trade up at 16 to go get Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo or I forgot the other school. Idaho, I think it might have been. I just know it's one of them schools. But Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles trade up 7 spots with the Seahawks, and they get their corner for the foreseeable future. At number 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do not know how to pronounce this guy's last name, so forgive me if I'm butchering names. They're going to take an offensive tackle out of Penn State, Olumuyiwa Fashanu. I hope I got that right. I'm horrible pronouncing these names. Olumuyiwa Fashanu from Penn State. Cam Robinson's their only proven tackle on that roster. They lost Jaywan Taylor to Kansas City last offseason. They need to protect Trevor Lawrence. And I think that the way you do that, you go protect him up front. Their defense they're going to get, I think, later in the half. I do think their defensive needs are a little red flag. I think they're going to be able to get a steal in round 2. So I've got Olumuyiwa Fashanu at offensive tackle, protect Trevor Lawrence. And I think that that's what they're going to do to pair Cam Robinson. They got plenty of skill players. They just need to protect Trevor up front. At number 18, Cincinnati Bengals. Oof, this is tough because, I thought some people might trade, but I think Cincinnati's got a really good player coming up at 18 that I think they're going to need. And I'll explain why this makes sense. At 18, I have Byron Murphy, the second defensive tackle out of Texas, going to the Bengals. Why'd you pick a D tackle for them, Rich? Well, they've got good edge players in Hubbard and Hendrickson. They've got DJ Reader, a good run stuffer. But Byron Murphy II, I think, not only is a great run defender, he's a good power rusher, and he's good at splitting double teams. They need a pass rusher up the middle, and I think that with an opportunity to learn under DJ Reader up front, I think that with the Ravens running heavy, the Browns are run heavy, the Steelers will run the ball with Najee Harris next year, and Jalen Warren. Trust me, that's going to happen. The AFC North is physical football. You need to build on the line of scrimmage, and Zach Taylor needs another guy that can help pass rush up the middle. And I think that Byron Murphy II out of Texas, the defensive tackle, is exactly what they need to complement Hendrickson and Hubbard if the Bengals are going to make a deep playoff run and make the Super Bowl again. So I got Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle out of Texas, going to the Bengals. At 19, the Rams. They were close to getting the last guy I just said, but I think the Bengals just beat him to it. But I still think the Rams get a very good value out of a pick coming up at 19. At number 19, the Rams take Chop Robinson, edge player out of Penn State. The Rams have no edge rushers that I can name on their roster. They need an edge player. They need an impact player that will flash off the screen. Aaron Donald retired. Still shocked by that. I think Chop Robinson is exactly what they need, and they need to get a pass rusher that makes impact plays and that a defense can keep an eye on. And I think Chop Robinson makes the most sense for them. I've got Chop Robinson at 19 going to the Rams because they need a guy up front that defenses need to key on, and he's a good fit for them. At number 20, the Steelers are on the clock, but I think the Titans trade up from their Bills pick to number 20, and the Steelers trade down a couple spots. And that pick, the Titans take Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. Why would you trade back for the other LSU wide receiver? Let me explain why. So, DeAndre Hopkins is your primary outside receiver. 6'1", good size. He can play the slot. Calvin Ridley, you just signed, right, for a lot of money. But Will Levis is on a rookie contract. You have Tony Pollard as your running back. I'm not the craziest fan, but you can get running backs late now. But Brian Thomas, they need a big, tall wide receiver on the outside. He's fast. I think that Brian Thomas gives them a physical jump ball, 50-50 catch radius for the Titans. They need a big body receiver. Treylon Burks has not quite worked out to the way they thought he would. And I'm going to go with Brian Thomas Jr., 3 wide receivers. That AFC South is going to be very competitive next season. And I've got Brian Thomas, the Titans trading up to go get him at 20th overall, the wide receiver from LSU. So, let's quickly recap. Pick 16 to 20. At 16, I think the Seahawks trade back 7 spots with the Eagles, and they go get 6 spots. I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 spots. I hope I got this right. 6 spots to go get Quinyon Mitchell. The Eagles trade up 6 spots to go get Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo or Idaho. I forgot which one it was. But Quinyon Mitchell, they get a younger secondary player. At 17, I think the Jaguars get their bookend tackle to go with Trevor Lawrence. Olumuyiwa Fashanu, I hope I got that right. Okay, this is going to be tough for me to try to pronounce some of these names. 18, I think the Bengals get their defensive tackle in the middle, their pass rusher up the middle, in Byron Murphy II. They need that for not only their run teams in the AFC North, but the teams that will be able to throw in their pocket passers. I think Byron Murphy II from the Texas Longhorns helps them and goes to the Bengals. At 19, I think the Rams get their edge player in Chop Robinson. And I've got 20, the Titans trading up from the Bills slot, up 7 spots to go get Brian Thomas out of LSU. The other LSU wide receiver, not Malik Neighbors. So that's 16 to 20. 21 through 25. Miami on the clock. Xavier Howard's gone. They lost Christian Wilkins. I think you guys know where I'm hinting with Miami. I'm going defense for them. All right, so Miami is going to take Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. I think they're going to need that with Jalen Ramsey. Cam Smith is more of a slot corner than an outside corner. I think Terrion Arnold plays with good range. He's got good ball skills. I think Miami gets a complement corner with Jalen Ramsey because Buffalo's going to throw it. The Jets are going to throw it. I almost said Packers. What's wrong with me? So Bills are going to throw it. Jets are going to throw it. New England's going to be old school maybe with Mayo. But Miami's going to go get corner because they're going to need to keep up with the pass-happy offenses in the AFC. I think they get Terrion Arnold, the cornerback out of Alabama, to match up with the passing attack in today's league. Get a compliment for Jalen Ramsey. Plus, Jalen Ramsey's level of play is not really that great last couple of years. So I think they get Terrion Arnold. At 22, Seattle's pick. This one is one that I love, actually, for Seattle, okay? Now, you're probably like, okay, well, they got corner the last couple of years. I don't know why they need corner, right? I am going to take for Seattle at 22, Jared Verse, defensive end out of Florida State. This is a great pick for Seattle. I think they've always needed an edge rusher for them. I think that I've watched this clip the other day of his bull rush move, and somebody said on Instagram, I think it was, does he have any other pass rush moves? And some people are saying, yes, he does. Seattle's getting an absolute player at 22. I think that Jared Verse falls right into their lap at 22. They get the player that they want, and I think he's going to make a huge difference for them up front. Give me Jared Verse, defensive end at Florida State for the Seahawks. I love this pick for them, and I think he's one of the best players in the draft. That's not talked about as much. At 23, what was going to be the Vikings pick, they are trading back. Okay? They're trading back. So, the Steelers come up from their pick with the Bills, okay? And actually, no, they're swapping at 27, so I'm probably at this way off. But 23, I know was the Vikings pick. So the Vikings are at 23. They're going down. That's probably why I'm getting it mixed up. So, yeah. Forgive me, guys. I might be all over the place, but I'm just giving you kind of like my take on it. So the Steelers at 23 get their guy before the Cowboys do, and they take Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas. I've heard Pittsburgh wants a wide receiver. They're in the works of trying to get Brandon Ayuk, supposedly. But I think Adonai Mitchell, they need a route runner. Deontay Johnson went to the Panthers. I think that Pickens is a good 50-50 receiver. Calvin Austin is more of a deep threat. I forgot there was another guy. Van Jefferson's a solid receiver, but I think he's more of a 3 or a 4. I don't value him as high as some of these other receivers. But I think Adonai Mitchell, 6'2", good size, good route runner. They need a route runner. All right. I think that Steelers trade up with the Cardinals 4 spots to go get Adonai Mitchell, and I think they get a nice compliment to go with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson and Pickens on the other side. So I've got Adonai Mitchell, Steelers trading up 4 spots before the Cowboys do at that pick. So I've got Adonai Mitchell to the Steelers. I don't know why, but I feel like mine's like messed up. But please tell me, guys, if mine's messed up. I know. I was trying to figure out the teams and everything. I was looking through ESPN, but I don't know why they had the Cardinals at 27 when I thought the Vikings had 2 first-round picks. I probably butchered this, guys. I probably did. But some crazy trade's going to happen. So that's why I think Adonai Mitchell's going to go to the Steelers. At 24, the Cowboys. I almost took a receiver for them, but I'm thinking to myself, would Jerry really trade up for this? Well, no, would Jerry really take this player this high? Unless he loves him. I haven't heard they love this player, but the Cowboys, they play with a defense. They play with the Eagles' defensive line is stacked. Washington's building a defensive line up there. And the Giants have an okay front, but their biggest competition is they want to beat the Eagles for the division. And I think their pick is going to surprise some people. But he's actually a pick they actually need. That's a good player. At 24, I've got the Cowboys taking Graham Barton, center out of Duke. Cowboy fans, you're not going to like this. But I don't care. Let me explain. The Cowboys need interior offensive line. Okay? Graham Barton, then you're going to need guard. He could play guard, but he can also play center. They lost their center. They lost their tackle, Tyron Smith. They need offensive line to help protect them. How are you gonna block Jalen Carter up front if you don't have offensive line? Interior guys. Nolan Smith, how are you gonna block him? Right? I just think that the Cowboys need to beef up interior. Okay. Remember, Jerry hit on Travis Frederick a couple years back. I think that Graham Barton is a great pick for Dallas at 24. My cousin won't like this, but I'm not surprised if he does. But the Cowboys need to beef up their interior offensive line. They're going to get receiver in round 2, I think. So I've got the Cowboys beefing up their offensive line, keeping up with the Eagles, and taking Graham Barton out of Duke. At 25, the Green Bay Packers. I've got them taking Talis Fuaga, offensive tackle at Oregon State. Let me explain this pick. They just lost David Bakhtiari. Okay, he may have a career-ending injury. I hope he comes back. He's a stellar offensive tackle. But I think they get a cheap offensive tackle on a rookie contract. I think he fits better in the zone scheme that LaFleur likes to run from the Shanahan system. I think that the Green Bay Packers need to protect Jordan Love a little bit. They need one more offensive line piece for them to maybe be really good offensively. They can get defense in the later rounds. I'm going with Talis Fuaga. I think this is a great pick for the Packers. A good offensive tackle they need from Oregon State. And I think the Packers help protect Jordan Love and help take their next step, hopefully towards making a deep playoff run. All right, so 21 through 25, all right? So we have one trade in this mix. We have Terrion Arnold he goes to the Dolphins at 21 from Alabama, the cornerback. 22, Jared Verse, the defensive end from Florida State, going to the Seahawks. Love this pick. 23, Steelers trade up 4 spots to go get Adonai Mitchell and take him right before the Cowboys do. 24, Graham Barton from the slide to the Cowboys at 24. They beat their offensive line, keep up with the Eagles. 25 is the Packers. They take Talis Fuaga, help protect Jordan Love. That's picks 21 to 25. Now, we've got 7 picks the rest of the way, so I'm just going to name the last 7 picks, all right, because I see this video's getting a little longer than it should be, but it's 32 picks, guys. We have to, go through everything, provide some analysis. So 26, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. I do not know their other tackle outside of Tristan Wirfs. And I think that pick is going to be Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield's coming back. They've got skill positions. They've got running game. They need offensive line. And they're needing it in the worst possible way ever. And I think Tyler Guyton will help out with Baker Mayfield, and he'll give him some protection. They lost Donovan Smith last year to the Chiefs. I think Tyler Guyton fills that role at left tackle, and I think Tristan Wirfs is the good right tackle. Tampa Bay bookends their offensive tackles, and I think Tampa Bay still can win the South next year. So Tyler Guyton falls at 26 to the Bucs. 27. This is one where I think it was the Cardinals, but I have them. I think it's the Vikings pick now. Vice versa. I don't remember. Okay, guys, I told you. There's a lot of crazy trades happening. I'm just telling you what I think. All right? But whoever it is, I think they're taking Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson. I think it's the Cardinals. And if it is, guys, if my picks are wrong, please tell me. All right? Nate Wiggins, I think, is going to stay at 27. All right? Either if it's the Cardinals or the Vikings. Because I think both teams need a corner. All right? In the NFC West, you've got teams that are going to throw it. The Rams are going to throw it. The Niners are going to throw it. I'm drawing a blank. Seahawks, Rams, Niners. Yeah, Seahawks, Rams, Niners, they're going to throw it, okay? And I think that the Cardinals need to be able to stop teams. And it's so simple. So I'm going with the Nate Wiggins, quarterback out of Clemson. You need to be able to have corners to defend on the outside. And I don't think Arizona's got a great sample of corners. I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. I think he's got good size, good speed. I think he's fast for those receivers you're going to be playing out there in the NFC West. So I think Nate Wiggins is a great pick for Arizona or Minnesota. Either way, both of those divisions, they're going to be throwing the ball. So whoever gets 27, hey, that's a great pick. 28. This one was, 23 was the Vikings, right? But then I had it be the Titans pick, but because I said the Bills would move up. It's crazy, right? But if it's Cardinals, Vikings, vice versa, I still think back-to-back corners are going to go here. And that pick is Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. I think that Cooper DeJean is exactly what the Vikings look for. So to recap, Cooper DeJean goes to the Vikings at 28, and Nate Wiggins goes at 27 to the Cardinals. All right, that's how I had it. Now, guys, if I'm wrong, please tell me. All right, but I think the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell's got some things he learned under Bill Belichick. Brian Flores, some defensive stuff, also learned under Belichick, right? They love those Iowa guys. I think Cooper DeJean's going to be a player they love, and I just have a feeling Kevin O'Connell really likes him. So I'm going with Cooper DeJean, quarterback out of Iowa, falls to the Vikings at 28. 29, the Lions. I love this pick coming up for the Lions. I do. They need defense. They gave up 31 points. My friend might not like it because he thinks they're going to need secondary, but I think they're going to get that in round 2. At number 29, the Lions take Jerzon Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois. This guy is an extremely underrated player, okay? I think, seriously, he is a sleeper, and the Lions need interior pass rush, right? And I think this Jerzon Newton guy is unbelievable. Great sleeper. I love this pick. Brad Holmes and them have hit on the draft the last couple of years. I think Jerzon Newton easily is a great pick for the Lions. They help Aiden Hutchinson get somebody to help the pass rush pressure off of him. They get somebody in the middle, and I think Jerzon Newton is a great player on both the run and the pass. I love this pick for the Lions. So I think Jerzon Newton falls to 29 to the Lions. At 30, the Baltimore Ravens. They're taking Kool-Aid McKinstry, quarterback out of Alabama. Why would they take corner, Rich? Their defense was great last year. Well, Marlon Humphrey is injury prone. They have a couple of okay corners, but are they sold as a bona fide one? I don't know. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is a good pick for them because they've drafted Alabama corner before, right? Eric DeCosta is going to need guys that are going to be able to defend, right? I mean, Kansas City was able to have some big plays on them. So I think they're looking at secondary and they're like, all right, we're going to need some guys to help out. Match up with Kansas City's receivers. Buffalo will throw it. Miami's going to throw it. They're looking at this league and they're seeing some teams that are going to throw it. So I think they're going to need a corner opposite of Marlon Humphrey if he stays right, a starting caliber NFL corner. And I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is that type of player that Eric DeCosta will end up go getting. At 31, the 49ers. Oh, I love this pick too. 49ers take Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia. 6'8" monster. He's played right tackle. I love this pick for them because guess what? Bookend tackles. Trent Williams has a couple years left. He's up there in age. You get the same kind of build as an offensive tackle. Amarius Mims, he plays right tackle. Okay, he learns from a Hall of Fame offensive tackle in Trent Williams for a couple years to polish his game. I think this is a great pickup for the Niners at 31. I can't believe I didn't have him get picked earlier, but I think Amarius Mims at 31 for the 49ers is an absolute great pick. John Lynch is going to love this pick, and I think the Niners get their offensive tackles to make sure Brock Purdy stays healthy. At 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. God, I hate you bandwagons, but I think you guys are going to end up taking this player because you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid way too much on this player. And that's Xavier Worthy, wide receiver in Texas. Okay, Andy Reid's going to go get the next Tyreek Hill 2.0. They're going to fall into that hype of, oh my God, he's got the new 40-yard dash combine record. Okay, they lost Valdez-Scantling, right? Rashee Rice is in trouble. And everybody keeps saying, Mahomes doesn't have enough help. Well, you're going to get Xavier Worthy, so I don't want to hear anything that's up with them. Andy Reid's going to go get receiver. So I think they're going to find a way to go get Xavier Worthy out of Texas because of the Rashee Rice suspension that's going to be coming soon. They lost Valdez-Scantling, that guy that can take the top off the defense. Kelsey's getting older. They're going to need another receiver. And a guy that's going to take the top off the defense is Xavier Worthy. I think that Brett Beach and Andy Reid, they go get him to end the first round. All right, to recap the last of the first round, the Bucs take Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, to help protect Baker Mayfield. Bookend tackles, make sure that Baker Mayfield stays healthy and that they compete and win the NFC South. I've got 27. The Cardinals taking Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. They're going to need a secondary guy to help stop the passing attacks of Seattle, San Francisco, and the Rams. I think that Nate Wiggins is a perfect piece to help your pass defense improve under Jonathan Gannon. 28. I've got the Vikings taking Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Again, the NFC North, the Lions, they're going to be throwing it. Green Bay, they're a nice team. They've got underrated young receivers. You're going to need young corners to compete with them. And Chicago is going to throw with Caleb Williams, especially with the receiving cast they have. So I got Cooper DeJean out of Iowa going to the Vikings. 29, Jerzon Newton to the Detroit Lions. They need a guy in the middle to help Aiden Hutchinson get the pass rush double teams off of him. I think Jerzon Newton is an impact player. He can play the run, and I think he helps both the run and the pass. Jerzon Newton, absolute steal. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell hit again in round 1. Ravens take Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, the cornerback. They need secondary. Kansas City had big plays on them, right? I think they're going to look at Houston. They're going to look at Kansas City. They're going to look at Miami, Buffalo. They're going to be throwing the ball. You're going to need secondary guys to stop those big plays. And I think that Kool-Aid McKinstry is a good piece for them in case Marlon Humphrey gets hurt. And I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is a nice corner that's an NFL-ready day one. 31, 49ers take Georgia offensive tackle Amarius Mims. I love this pick. He learns under Trent Williams for 1 year, stays healthy, okay? He can learn from Trent Williams. He can play right tackle next season. Trent Williams can play left. He can learn from Trent Williams' game and then become a really, really good tackle in the NFL. I think Amarius Mims is a great pick opposite of Trent Williams for your tackles to keep Brock Purdy healthy. And the Chiefs take Xavier Worthy. Like I said, Rashee Rice is going to be in suspension problems. Valdez-Scantling's gone, right? Mecole Hardman, I mean, yeah, he's fast, but he's banged up. Andy Reid always likes to get his fast wide receivers, and I think they're drinking the Kool-Aid on him running the fastest 40-yard time. And plus, Mahomes wants him, so anything that, Mahomes wants, the Chiefs are going to get him. Spoiled brats. Fuck the Chief bandwagons. Anyway, guys, that is my 2024 NFL mock draft for the first round. I would do second round, but we're seeing that this video is getting a little too long as is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys love the season concept. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get all the latest updates coming up for the 2024 NFL season. If you guys want more off-season content, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to give you guys more off-season content if you like. Give me some ideas. I'm down. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime Special Edition, NFL Draft Edition. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys later on Loungetime, hopefully for some more off-season content. See you guys in the off-season, or see you guys for the preseason for preseason picks.